Hello everyone, welcome to Celine's channel. Today I want to share a learning journey about exploring the application of the intersectionality theory in social issue. After reading this article, I gained a comprehensive and in-depth understanding of the concept of intersectionality. It makes me re-examine various inequality in society and the multiplicity of personal identities. The article revenues around intersectionality, exploring its definition, concept, historical origins, and manifestations in different fields, opening up a new perspective for me to understand social structures and individual experiences. However, upon an in-depth study, I also found that this theory has some aspects worth of discussion and critique. The article points out that intersectionality was put forward by Kimberly Chivers in late 1980s, but as early as the 1970s, black feminists from Corbingham River Collective had related expression. It emphasizes that an individual's identity is diverse, composed of multiple factors such as race, class, gender, sexual orientation, age, and disability status. These factors intersect and jointly shape an individual's social position and experiences. This view made me realize that previous analyses of individuals and social problems were often too one-dimensional, ignoring the interaction of multiple identity characteristics. When understanding intersectionality, four key concepts are Four key concepts are particularly important. The first one is all of who I am, identity factors. Intersectionality endorses the idea of all of who I am. Individuals need to position themselves politically and socially, clarifying their various identity factors. For example, the author positions herself as an African diaspora, a woman, a feminist from a working-class family act. At the same time, we should also recognize the differences in power and privilege brought about by different identities. There are obvious differences in power and privilege among white men, white women, black men, and black women due to factors such as racism and sexism. This makes me reflect that when interacting with others and analyzing social phenomena in daily life, we cannot focus only on a single identity characteristic. We need to fully consider the comprehensive influence of multiple factors to understand other situations more comprehensively. Moreover, in practical applications, this concept may face some challenges. When an individual has too many complex identity labels, it may lead to confusion in identity recognition. For example, a person with multiple minority. For example, a person with multiple minority identity may need to emphasize different identity in different situations, which may make them feel confused in self-perception and social interaction and difficult to form a stable self-identity. The second one is about oppression. Oppression is the way in which the powerful, marginalized, and subject 我查一下这个 subject disadvantages group, which is reflected at all levels, such as governments and cultural institutions. Africa, blacks, dangerous people, indigenous people, and people of color are often the targets of oppression. Understanding such systemic oppression is the basis for conducting an intersectional analysis. This makes me understand this inequality in society is not accidental, but it's caused by deep-seated power structure. To promote social change, we must break this oppressive structure. However, these theories' analysis of oppression may overemphasize the market structure and relatively ignore the individual's agency at the micro level. When facing oppression, individuals are not completely passive. They may resist oppression through various daily behaviors and strategies. However, the intersectionality theory's elaboration in this regard is relatively insufficient. The third one is about the violence. An intersectional analysis requires connecting the experiences of violence in history and the present. Violence includes not only physical, sexual, and psychological harm, but also various forms such as racism, sexism, and classism. This violence of the police against black communities is a typical example which has caused multifaceted harm to black families. This makes me deeply realize that various forms of violence are interrelated and all turn from an equal power structure. We must resist this form of violence together to achieve true social justice. However, when defining the scope of violence, the intersectionality theory may be ambiguous. Whether some behaviors belong to category of violence may be controversial due to different cultural and social backgrounds, which may lead to differences in the practical application of the theory for analysis and action. The last one is about resistance. Resistance is crucial to intersectionality. It is a struggle for survival, existence, and the elimination of all forms of violence such as colonialism and anti-black racism. Many black women in history have mobilized black indigenous and people of color women globally through words and actions to examine the impacts of race, gender, and class on their lives, and to resist This inspires me and make me realize that everyone has their responsibility to work toward eliminating social injustice and changing the status quo through resistance. However, the intersectionality theory's guidance on resistance strategies is relatively general. It emphasizes the importance of resistance but lack of specific and practical suggestions on how to resist effectively in different social situations, which may make it difficult to translate the theory into practice. From the historical perspective, the intersectionality theory has deep roots in 19th and 20th centuries. Many Black women began to explore the intertwined influence of racism and sexism. For example, Sojourner Truth mentioned the complex violence experienced by Black women in her famous speech in 1851. In recent years, many Black women scholars and activists have further enriched this theory. Their contributions show that the intersectionality theory originated from real-life experience and is a profound reflection and response to social equality. This article have had a significant impact on my knowledge system and way of thinking. At the knowledge level, it has given me a deeper understanding of social structure and power relations, making me aware of complexity and diversity of social equality. In terms of thinking model, it has promoted me to shift from a single perspective analysis to a multi-perspective comprehensive analysis. When looking at social problems and individual experiences, I will more comprehensively consider the interactions of various factors. In future study and life, I will apply the intersectionality theory to observe and analyze social phenomena more accurately and actively support social justice action. At the same time, I will also pay attention to its limitations and think about how to better combine theory with practice to contribute to the elimination of equality. Thanks for your watching. Goodbye.